So I had a recent situation with an individual. Me and this individual have a not so great relationship for plenty of years. And there's been times in the past where I've tried to implement positive change and try to bring some restoration, some life to the relationship. And because the relationship has been so rocky and there's been a lot of traumatic things that have happened, a lot of negative words that have been shared, every time I go to implement change, it takes a lot out of me for the smallest thing, and I mean the smallest thing. Like, to speak takes a lot. I have to fight my pride. I have to fight my fear to put forth any type of positive words, actions, effort towards this person. And it's only because, like, they're not evil, they're not whatever. It's just because of our past experience. And every time something happens, I get an extra baggage, I get an extra piece of luggage, I get, a brick added to my wall that I've built. Mind you, it's a nice, it's pretty much like the Great Wall of China with this person at this point. So recently I tried again, right? I tried to implement change that I wanted to see, not in the world, but in this specific relationship, right? Can't save the world if you can't, get your own immediate area together. So I tried again to implement some type of positivity, optimism, effort, action, words, whatever, right? So I go forth with this change. I go forth with this change, right? And I do it consistently. This day, next day, next day, next day, next day, right? And the first time I did it, it was crazy because, like, they looked at me like, who were you? Where did you come from? And what did you do with Erica? Because this is not how Erica gets. This is not how we get down, So the first time I did it, they looked at me crazy. And I smiled and still did it. Kept doing it. Day after day. Day after day. So after doing this consistently, they want to, have a talk. So we sit and we talk. Share different things. And the change comes up, right? The actions come up, right? So how long is this going to last? Everything's been so back and forth and everything's been so up and down. How long is this going to last? Is this you? When are you going to stop this? Is this real? Is this? Is this? Like, all of this just negative, right? Everything's negative. So guess what I do? I shut down. I shut down immediately. While they were still talking. Up here, I was like, I'm good. I'm cool. You ain't gotta worry about me ever again. Like, this relationship can be done. Like, done. Like, done. Like, I'm done trying. I don't want to try anymore. I won't fix it. It's just gonna be what it is. All the people that are affected by this relationship, oh well. All the people that want this relationship to be better, oh well. Even though inside I want the relationship to be better, oh well. It's going to stay where it is. Let it die. What's the point? What is the point of trying to restore and better something when you're not going to acknowledge the positive change being made, when you're not going to receive it, when you're not going to encourage it, when you're not going to build it, when you're not going to uplift it, when you're not going to bring life to it? What is the point? For what? So I stopped. Stopped for 5 days, to be exact. Stopped. Started back, was it this morning? This morning. But check it. The reason I started back was because the change wasn't implemented for them. The change was implemented for me. Because I need it. I need to overcome that obstacle. I need to overcome that fear. I need to overcome that rejection. I need to overcome the feeling of, every time I do something positive towards this person, it always ends up like, I needed to overcome that. Although, when I did try something positive, what I was afraid of happened. It wasn't received. It was frowned upon. It was, is this real? Is this, But this is the stuff that we do to our kids, to our husbands, to our wives, to our friends, to our family. We do this to people every single day, and everybody's response is not going to be as simple as mine. Mine was simple enough to just be like, F it and keep it pushing. But that's not everybody's response. If somebody has whatever their habit is, whatever they may be hooked on, or whatever changes they need to make in life, let's say drug addict, alcoholic, whatever it is, if they've decided to make changes for the better, like, why would you not encourage them? Why would you not acknowledge it? Why would you not build them up and help them along the way? Like, why would you not? Because there's people that strung out on drugs and they try to quit and they want to make changes, and because you rejected them, because you didn't build them up, because you didn't give life to the efforts that they took. Like, that first step is always the hardest freaking step, man. It's always like, it takes everything out of you. Like, everything out of you. Like, I wish you could understand. Some people may understand. You have that one person you just don't want to deal with at all. That's me. Just because of, everything that's happened. But check it. Had that been any other person going through the same principal situation of taking steps to make change, and we reject them, we don't acknowledge it, we talk trash about them, we talk bad about them, we say, oh, you're not going to do this, you're not going to be this, how long is this going to last? That person can turn around and commit suicide. That person can turn around and walk from everything they knew or thought was family and turn to the streets. They're going to turn to gang life. They're going to turn to drugs. They're going to turn to alcohol. You never know. So you tear that person apart. You rip them to shreds. You reject them. They go commit suicide. How would you feel? How do you feel when somebody rejects you? When somebody doesn't encourage you? When somebody doesn't uplift you? When somebody doesn't believe in you? How do you feel? Words hold so much power. Words are beyond effective. You can either give life to something and help it grow, or you can poison something and kill it. So I challenge you. I challenge you. Use your words wisely. I challenge you to start building your neighbor, building your husband, building your wife, building your kids. How else are we going to save our families? How else are we going to save our communities? And we won't even acknowledge the first step to change. So what if they've tried to change several times and have failed? Who gives a crap? Nobody's perfect. Nobody gets it on the first try. Nobody gets it on the 10th try. Everybody's not going to perfect everything the first, second, third, 10th, 20th time. Words are everything. And people can say, I don't care what people say about me. I don't care what people say to me. Yes, you do. You do. You do. At the end of the day, you do. Whether it affects you immediately, it's going to affect you. Period. Everybody's not able to bounce back. Everybody's not able to block what people say. Everybody's not able to block what people do. But there's so many hurt and abused people walking around hurting and abusing each other. There's so many people that were spoken negative to, being put down all the time. Your mama telling you ain't no good, you ain't gonna be this, you ain't gonna be that, blah, blah, blah. That's what they do. Then they have kids and that's what they tell their kids. You ain't gonna be this, you ain't gonna do that, you ain't gonna do blah, blah, blah. Right? It's time to start implementing change. And not necessarily the change you want to see in the world, but the change you want to see in specific relationships and situations that are around you right now. Because if you implement change into those specific relationships and those specific situations, you'll start to see it in the world. You'll start to. You can't implement change in China and you're in America. You can't implement change in the whole United States of America and you're in Texas. Implement change in Texas. Don't go, to another city, start in your city. Don't go to another county, start in your county. Don't go, to the neighborhood across town, start in yours. Speak life. Implement effective, uplifting, positive, optimistic change. Because everybody's not going to be able to bounce back. Everybody doesn't respond differently. And take your freaking expectations off of people. Everybody's not you. They're not going to be how you want them to be. They're not going to respond how you want them to respond. Take your expectations off. Speak life. Build. Build, don't break.